Hey, Lit Up. I'm reading chapter 22 to you today, and I have no makeup on. So you must know how much I love you, and I want you to listen to this if I can do it like this. Okay, you guys ready? This is called Calls 59 and 60. After I'm home, and after I get Mom off my case for being gone so long, and after I get my door locked and I put on some clothes, I unfold the list and flatten it out. I stare at the names and I think about how I got them. And I'm not proud of myself for being a sneak thief, but it had to be done because something has to be done. I can't just sit around and do nothing. And I think about Alicia. I feel like I should call to make sure that she got home okay, but she'd probably just get all hissy about how she can take care of herself. So I root around in my desk until I find a clipboard and I put the list on it. Then I pull the cell phone loose from the charger wire. I flop down on my bed and I go to work. My first 58 phone calls to people on the blanket list break down like this. 13 phone services had messages that say stuff like, "This number is no longer in service." 8 answering machines that I don't leave a message. 6 husbands who don't know how their wives got the blanket or how they had done anything such as exchange it or not. And they also said they couldn't care less. 5 wives who didn't know their husbands had exchanged an electric blanket and who also said they couldn't care less. 6 lonely old people who remembered something about an electric blanket, but really just wanted to talk to me about their grandchildren or Wheel of Fortune or the weather or the cost of heating oil or anything at all. 8 people who hang up because they think I'm trying to sell them something. 6 kids who don't know when mom or dad will be home or who say mom or dad can't or won't call us back or who say that they don't want to tell them that I called. And 6 people, 2 men and 4 women, who are actually pleasant and cooperative, but had no strange blanket events at all to tell me. 58 phone calls and not one hint about anything unusual that might have happened because of an electric blanket that had stopped working properly. Mom has gotten over being mad about me going out today without telling anyone. Dad has come home from the lab for dinner, but he doesn't smile about anything. I can tell he's still churning the data. And for 2.5 hours before dinner, the 2.5 hours after dinner, I'm in my room going through the names from my crumpled stolen list. I'm laying on my bed, the microwaves burning in my brain, running up a killer phone bill. So it's about 9:45, and I make the 59th call. I know it's kind of late, and I skip ahead 2 names to a person who lives in Denver because it's an hour earlier there. Mr. Borden? Yes. I'm sorry to bother you at home, but I'm doing a survey about your experience with Sears electric blanket. A blanket? Yes, sir, from Sears. Do you recall exchanging the blanket? Yeah, we had a pink one. It was probably my wife did it. But it wasn't really our blanket. It just left here. It left here? You mean it left your home? The man doesn't answer at once. His voice is strained. My daughter, Sheila, that was her blanket. Oh, may I please speak with her then? No, she's gone now. I hear the catch in his voice, and that certain way he uses the word gone. I don't know what to say. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Borden. I hope you don't mind me asking, but this is pretty important. Do you think your daughter's death had anything to do with the electric blanket? Death, he says. There's a little anger in his voice now. She's not dead. That's the hell of it. She's just gone. Over 3 years now. I feel the hair on my arms stand up. Invisible goosebumps. Gone? You mean like, how? Like run away from home? Something like that? The man blows his nose and he clears his throat. I don't really know. She dropped out of college. She moved back home and she gets a job. Then she takes up with some of her old friends and she starts staying out late. She came home drunk most nights, sleeps next day till noon, gets up, goes to her job at the restaurant, and then on like that for almost 2 months. Then one night, she comes in real late, she goes to bed, and the next morning, gone. And you haven't heard from her since? Only once. She called, asked we could send her $2,000, 2,000 more than the four she already stole when she left. Send it by Western Union, she says, to this grocery store in Florida. So I did it. Probably stupid, but if you have kids, you know why I had to do it. That's about 2 years ago. Since then, nothing, except a note last Christmas. And it's not like it was even a card or something nice for her mother. Just one of those computer messages. My heart almost stops. You mean an email? I guess so. It's just plain letters on a piece of typing paper. Send it to Mrs. Harlan's house address next door. Then her boy made a copy on his computer and brought it over to us. Mr. Borden, it's really important that I talk to your daughter. Do you still have the message your neighbor brought to you? Are you kidding? My wife keeps everything. Pictures, bits of her hair, baby shoes, first teeth, report cards, everything. Tore her up when Sheila left. Could you find that paper for me? You mean right now? Please, if it's not too much trouble, it might be a huge help. Hang on. I've got to walk upstairs. I'm on my feet, pacing. I go over to my desk and I open up a little notebook. My hands are so sweaty, it's hard to hold the ballpoint pen. He's taken a long time. There's a click on the line as Mr. Borden picks up another extension. You still there? Yes, sir. Okay, here's what it says. Dear Mom and Dad, I just wanted to say Merry Christmas. I know I left so suddenly, but I think it was the best for all of us. Sorry if it hurt you. I think about you a lot, and I hope I can come home to see you again. Love, Sheila. I don't want to hear all of this, but once he started, I can't interrupt. His voice is thick at the end, and when he stops, I say, Mr. Borden, at the top of the page, is there something that has the at symbol in it? Like a little A inside of a circle? It might even say from and then have a bunch of letters and numbers. I'm holding my breath. Yeah, up at the top it says from and then there's something like that. Can you please spell it out for me just exactly the way that it's written? Well, it's not written, it's all typed. That's what I mean, just the way it's typed. It says EILAS. And then an at doohickey, and then it says GLOWZ, and then a period, and then NET, and then that's all of it. Mr. Borden, thanks so much for your help. I really appreciate it. Well, you're welcome. I hope you can fix this blanket problem of yours. Yeah, thanks. Me too. I push the button to end the call, and I see the phone wobbling. That's because my hands are shaking. Maybe this is nothing, just a coincidence, but there's anything at all to find out, I will, because now I have Sheila Borden's email address, eyelash@glows.net. Her dad probably never even noticed that EILASH is just Sheila mixed around a little bit. That's probably the only email he ever got in his whole life. Dad and Mom are both in the study, sitting in their big armchairs on either side of a tall reading lamp. Dad's dozing, a clipboard with notes and diagrams lying under his lap. Mom looks up from her book and smiles when my clothes walk in. I sit down at the computer and she frowns. Well, it's almost bedtime now, Bobby. I just have to use the net, just a few minutes. She goes back to her book, and when the computer is ready, I open up to a search engine. I found the people search features and I jump around until I see exactly what I need. It's a reverse hunt engine. You put in an email address, and unless the person you are looking for has been a freak about online privacy, that email address leads you right to the rest of their data. So I scroll to the right box and I key in eyelash@glows.net. I got her. Sheila Borden lives in Miami, and I've got her street address and her phone number. When I shout, Dad sits straight up and his clipboard clatters to the floor, and Mom stares over at me and says, "What?" "Oh, sorry, nothing. I just found a cool website, that's all." Because I don't want to jinx this. It's probably nothing. And besides, I don't want to get stuck again trying to explain about my field trip to Sears for the rest of the night. "Well, it's your bedtime. And you too, David. You've been sitting here snoring, so don't tell me that you've got work to do. Up now, both of you." I grab the printout and say goodnight, and I'm back up to my room, 2 steps at a time. I shut my door, and I grab the phone off my bed, and then I stand still. Part of me says, go back down there and talk to the folks. Tell them what you're thinking here and ask for some advice. But I don't want to. This is my deal this time, not theirs. Part of me says, call the Sheila right now and see what she has to say. But I don't want to do that either. And part of me says, just call Alicia. That's the part of me I agree with, so I punch in her number. "Hello? Oh, hi, Mrs. Van Dorn, this is Bobby. I'm really sorry to calling so late, but could I talk to Alicia?" There's a long pause. "Bobby, did you go somewhere with Alicia this afternoon?" My head kicks into overdrive. In 2 seconds, I think, if she's asking me this, does it mean she already knows, and this is a test to see if I'm a liar, or is she just suspicious and she's just fishing for information? I say, I did see her at the library, if that's what you mean, because that's true. And now it's her turn to give me another clue about where this is coming from. I'm a pro at this game. I can hear the worry in her voice. She was out almost 4 hours this afternoon, and she won't talk to me about it. Do you know anything else? Aha, the mom doesn't know, and she's fishing. This next part has to be just right, or I'm blacklisted by the mother and hated by the daughter. The first would be an inconvenience. The second would just be a plain tragedy. So I say, if you don't mind, Mrs. Van Dorn, I don't think it's my place to get between one of my friends and her parents. Nice. No, better than nice. That was brilliant. And it hits me. 3 weeks ago, I couldn't have even thought that, much less had to say it to somebody like Alicia's mom. Another pause, plus a mom sigh. Yes, I suppose you're right, but I'll call Alicia. And while I wait, I'm thinking maybe I should become a family counselor or maybe a hostage negotiator. Bobby? Hi, Alicia. Just a minute. Then, away from the phone, she yells, Mother, hang up! And I hear the other phone click off. She always tries to eavesdrop. So did my mom say anything to you? She asked me if I went somewhere with you today. And you said that I did see you at the library. And then she said you wouldn't tell her where you were for 4 hours. And did I have any information? Then I said I didn't think I should get between a friend and her parents. You said that? Said Alicia. I did. And she said, yes, I suppose you're right. You may applaud now, or throw flowers at me if you wish. Oh, I'm so impressed, said Alicia. I knew you would be. That's why I told you. Okay, smart guy. So what did you do when you got home? You mean after I dealt with my mother? Of course. I made a jillion phone calls, 58 duds, and then I hit the jackpot. Maybe. Or maybe it's just another dead end. The father of a girl who went to bed one night, and then in the morning, she's all gone. Like, gone? Don't know. She hasn't been home in about 3 years, but she sent an email to her folks last Christmas, and I got her email address, and then I looked up her address and phone. You called her? I wanted just to talk to you first. Oh. And then, how come? To see what you think I should say to her. Well, how should I know? Well, I mean, I can't just call her up and say, I know you had this defective pink blanket and that you left home very suddenly, so tell me, Sheila, are you invisible? I can't say something like that or she'll just hang up. And besides, it's pretty late. Alicia's quiet for about 10 seconds. Bobby? What? Another pause, and then it's her quiet voice. You're really smart. You know exactly how to talk to this woman. I know that. So why did you call me? For the second time during this very phone call, I've got to get something just right on the first try. Well, because this afternoon, because it felt like we rode out there to Sears together and then we came home alone. And I didn't like that. Silence. And I'm thinking I said too much, or maybe too little, or maybe just the completely wrong thing because I'm an idiot. But she says, that's my fault. But don't think it's because I didn't want to be with you or to help you, or that I don't like you because I do like you. It's it's because I talked with those people about being blind and working, like really working in a real job at a real company and everything. And I mean, some lady at the lighthouse talked to me about all the jobs there are for blind people and that there was so much less a year ago, but today there's so many. And I didn't believe it had anything to do with me, but today it was different. It was so new to think about myself that way, and it was scary. And it made me feel so alone, and it made me feel alone now. Oh, she opens up her heart to me, and what do I say? I say, oh. And I'm so mad at myself because I have said this. I should have said, but you're not alone, Alicia. I'm here and I'll always be here. And then the lights would dim and the violins would start playing and I would take her face between my hands. Oh, geez, I'm in big trouble. Right away I say, but it's good. What happened to you? Maybe you meeting those people was what today was really about. You know what I mean? Because this Sheila woman and all the other 200 and some people on my list, maybe all that is nothing, like nothing. But what happened for you today, well, that was real. That was something, right? So that's good. Yeah, it was good. I think that's true. Then things feel awkward for a second, and I'm afraid I might have said that stuff I was thinking right out loud, or else maybe Alicia used her real eyes and saw what I was feeling right through the telephone. You know, her real eyes. I say, so listen, I'll call this lady tomorrow and then let you know what happens, okay? All right. And thanks, Alicia. For what? Oh, for today, I guess. For everything. Everything? Yeah. Well, you're welcome, Sheila says. And thank you too, Bobby. For what? Same. Bye. Good night. As I get ready for bed, and then I turn off the lights, and I pull up the feather quilt. I'm not thinking about my electric blanket and how much I miss it. I'm not thinking about Sheila Borden or about her dad. Call number 59. I'm thinking about call number 60. You know, my call to Alicia.